Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
As we emerge from this pandemic, amongst the welter of reports and inquiries, one thing's already clear: the bravery of the workers in the NHS and the social care sector as they help save lives and care for the infected. Well, many of these workers are from overseas. The latest Oxford Migration Observatory figures for non-UK citizens and healthcare jobs is 20%. In care homes, it's 18%. But how many of these will remain after Brexit? One argument for us leaving the EU was that the government wants to upskill the UK workforce. Well, as many as 2 million more of us could be unemployed by the summer. So will the UK workforce be able to deliver what we need most?
Take back control. 3 words that defined Brexit. But the coronavirus is no respecter of borders or nationalities. The sight of seasonal fruit pickers from Romania arriving at Stansted today, headed for the southeast of England and Lincolnshire, underlines that the entry of so-called unskilled workers to the UK, on average 90,000 fruit pickers a year, allowed to remain for 3 months under the new rules, may have to be rethought the longer the virus plagues us. Under lockdown, UK workers are not allowed to head for the fields, and our fruit and vegetable crops will not wait for this disease to pass. We need help, and there may be many more planes carrying even more pickers than usual. There was no more stark or poignant reminder of the debt owed to foreign nationals working here during this crisis than the video message the Prime Minister delivered after he left St Thomas's Hospital to begin his convalescence. Amongst the many NHS hospital staff he mentioned, he said he was especially grateful to 2 nurses.
They're Jenny from New Zealand, in Incorrigible on the South Island to be exact, and Luis from Portugal, near Porto.
Jenny and Luis are part of an army of NHS and care workers who are integral to the welfare system and to our welfare. Many so-called low-skilled migrants on the COVID frontline, refuse collectors, bus drivers and supermarket staff, would not pass the new immigration rules under newly released guidance by the Home Secretary.
Something's come from overseas
and taken your jobs.
but not me.
Or me.
Or me.
This week, a video was posted on social media to accompany a poem. You clap for me now to make the case for immigration and the danger of racism. Brexit is a fixture, but what is not fixed is how much this era of the coronavirus will impact on who are the most valued people in our community and in wider society.
Well, I hope to be joined by the Labour MP, Rushanara Ali, and David Goodhart is here, Head of Immigration and Integration at the Policy Exchange and the author of The Road to Somewhere. Good evening to both of you. We're just waiting for the other Skype line to come through. But David Goodhart, just looking at that and looking at the debt that Boris Johnson paid to 2 particular workers, and I wonder if the mood has shifted in this country about exactly who is valued and whether they come from here, there or anywhere. Does that matter?
I certainly think it's true that ethnic minority Brits have been very visibly in the front line of the crisis as NHS doctors and nurses, and indeed on what one might call the home front of the invisible army of relatively low-paid, low-status jobs in retail and cleaning and indeed care, as you say. But I mean, the idea that these people are kind of second-class citizens who have only just now been embraced by mainstream Britain, I think just flies in the face of all the evidence, everything we know from opinion polls, from the public domain. Look at the cabinet. I think it's what, 8% of Brits. It's only 8% of Brits who say that you have to be white to be truly British now.
But if you valued, what my point would sort of be, and I think what's coming out in this virus is the people that are most valued, are people that actually do the jobs that are needed most just now. And if you look at, that huge group, particularly in the poorly paid care sector, a lot of people that do that job would not qualify for, because they earn so little, to be able to come to the UK in the future. And now, it used to be talked in abstract terms, didn't it, about, you know, care home staff from other European countries and how we'll miss them and so forth. But we now know that it's very important that we have that expertise, regarded in many ways as being low skilled and therefore not important to this country.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I hope we are going to have some change in the status hierarchy in this country. I mean, it's very noticeable that most of the key workers, the people that really keep the show on the road, are not graduates. They're not people with degrees. You know, we've made cognitive ability the gold standard of human esteem. And I think we're paying the price for that to some extent. But isn't it better to focus on raising the pay and status of those jobs so that people here will be more attracted to do them? I mean, you know, we have a massive recruitment crisis already in social care. You know, social care employs 1.4 million people, and they have 120,000 vacancies. The annual churn is 30%. We've had that even with free movement. We need to do something more radical.
So we have a new social... Interesting. Interesting you should say that, because then what I would say is, if you look at the wages, for example, a carer in a care home would start perhaps at 12,500. You know, a supermarket worker who right now is absolutely key to whether people can actually get food and drink to keep them going, might earn as little as 11,000. As you say, lots of UK workers don't want those jobs. So those people are not going to be able to fill jobs because they're not going to be earning enough money to get into this country. They literally have to be earning, unless they're key NHS workers, something like £24,000 to be welcome in this country. But no British person has stepped up to the plate for these jobs.
Well, we're going to see that change because employers are going to have to pay for them. They're going to have to start training more at the bottom. That is the whole point of the government's post-Brexit immigration policy. I mean, nothing has basically changed on immigration. I mean, we're you know, the story remains the same. We're a pretty open society. We've had very historically unprecedented levels of immigration over the last 25 years. There is a national consensus that those numbers should be reduced somewhat. We should remain an open society, but reduce those numbers somewhat. And by the way, ethnic minority Brits also believe that. So nothing has changed on the fundamentals. We have a new system coming in, which is pretty open at the high skill level, as you say. I mean, you know, indeed, it's come down. It's become more open. So you only have to have A-level type qualifications to classify as highly skilled, and you only have to earn 24, 25 grand. At the lower end of the labour market, yes, the government wants employers to pay more and train people better so that people here will want to do those jobs. And I think that is a perfectly reasonable thing. It's extremely popular with public opinion. So, you know, we're going to have to make do.
I'm afraid technology is defeating us somewhat, so thank you so much for sticking with it, and we're sorry we lost our other guest.